Welcome to Bariatric Business Accelerator, the podcast created for busy weight loss practitioners and their teams who want to systematize, simplify, and accelerate the growth of their new or existing weight loss practice. I'm your host, Carol Clark, and today we're talking about the fact that sometimes it's not always about the marketing. So often, and I have fallen prey to this, so often practices or practitioners want to spend a lot of money or focus resources on all of their marketing efforts. So filling up that sort of top of the funnel to get new people interested in your practice, which is really important, of course. But yet sometimes we can be scratching our heads because your schedule still isn't full. There's gaps day to day, or your OR schedule isn't full if you're a bariatric surgeon. And it's one of those things where we're wondering, why is this not converting? Why is this happening? And there's oftentimes a lot of reasons for that. And so we want to focus on those as well. So you may market, you gain prospects, as I mentioned, but they're not turning into consults or patients that are with you long term. So some of the considerations you may want to look at is, first of all, are they getting prompt and effective feedback and communication? Is there a connection being made? So oftentimes now, especially with artificial intelligence and chatbots and all that sort of thing, people become sort of numb to just that automated response. Now, there are some that are very interactive, very similar to a human, but really we need to make that connection. So you want to look at that process, and are you really able to make a connection with those patients? The other thing is there a clear call to action? The more I work with practices, sometimes they're like, I didn't even know what a CTA was until we started working together. And now all I think about is CTA, what's my call to action? But what is the clear direction that you are giving prospective patients in terms of their next step? Is it easy for them to have the next step and have that communication and build that sort of bond and relationship with you? Do you have an efficient way to track those new people coming in, where they're coming from, where they are in the process, whether you're a medical practitioner or surgical practitioner for weight loss? Are you able to track those people and reconnect with them? Because people are busy and it requires more than one contact in order to oftentimes have them become an established patient. So do you have an efficient patient tracking mechanism in place? And it doesn't have to be a fancy software. It can be. I have lots of different ones that I work with, but it could be a spreadsheet. It could be just something within your EMR, but you've got to be able to keep track of those patients coming through. Do you have convincing transformations that you are highlighting, your testimonials, your before and after photos? Can you get into the mind of the person who's looking for that same transformation and have them see, yes, that this is possible for me too? So you want to have those transformations on display, making sure that people do understand that you are equipped and able to help them gain that same transformation or what they desire most. The other thing is, do you have a smooth onboarding process? Do you have a great way for them to get engaged in your practice and to stay engaged with your practice? That's another factor that could be affecting your how full your schedule is or your OR schedule. The other one is follow through. Is your team following through with these patients? Are they actually reaching back out to them, as we mentioned earlier, and are they following through on the requests that the patients have, the questions that they may have? Is that follow through really happening also once they're onboarded and a patient of yours? And then finally, are you focusing too much on sales instead of a long-term relationship? And so you're so anxious to get that sale or to get them in that we're sort of remote, or we become robots almost ourselves to try to get them in, versus really listening to the patient and building a strong relationship with them. Marketing is important, as I mentioned, but these aspects are just as important, sometimes even more important, in terms of building that relationship and a long-term relationship with the patient, and making sure that they stay with you for a long period of time and that you're able to build that and you can have them really relying on you for the services. And we want to build, obviously, them to be independent, but we also want to be able to help them so they can get that transformation. So I want you to just listen to your gut. Oftentimes we can go through this and you're kind of like, yeah, I'm not sure we're really good at that particular aspect, but look at it, have your team sort of evaluate these different aspects. We just went through a 6-week intensive in membership for Bariatric Business Accelerator, looking at all of these various factors that can affect your sales or your profitability. So we want to make sure that you do listen to your gut, that you do talk with your team about it, and oftentimes you know exactly where you need to focus your efforts. If not, we dive into that together. So I hope this has been useful for you to make sure that you do have a steady stream of new patients that you can help transform them. That's what we're here for anyhow, and to make sure that you're not only having people coming into sort of the top of your funnel, but they're also engaging with you and becoming those patients and future testimonials and before and afters for everyone else to identify with. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, Carol, Karol, at weightlosspracticebuilder.com. In the meantime, have a great day.